everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Sports Rants with Abby and friends. Of course, I'm Abby, and we got Fly Guy in the building. You're going to be rocking with us too tonight. We are so excited that you're here. Of course, every Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern. Please like, subscribe. You already know the deal. But, Guy, I'm going to just ask, how you feeling this week?
Can't really complain, right?
Our teams both won. Like, what hell must have frozen over? Because for Miami to pull off that type of win and the Jets literally was absolutely nuts. So, you want to go ahead and start talking about NFL first?
Yeah, why not? Let's
All
jump
right,
right in it.
let's go ahead and start with Miami because that was a little bit, for me at least, a little bit of a shocker.
Yeah.
So what was your overall take from the game? What do you think they were doing really well? Any improvements do you think that you still see problems lingering?
Yeah, I think it starts and begins with Tua, right? Like he didn't make any mistakes. He actually played well. And it kind of reminds me of like a SpongeBob episode from back in the day where like he couldn't drive normal, but he could drive with like the blindfolds on. But it's like he has to be like kind of like messed up. He was sick. One of his eyes was almost swollen shut. All that mythical stuff that happened on Sunday. He threw for 4 touchdowns, I believe, and no interceptions. Wow. That's the big
That's
kicker.
impressive.
Yeah. Like, wow. He's not to turn the ball over. He was actually a quarterback, and Atlanta's pretty good, right? But they also lost 30-0 to Carolina, so they're a little inconsistent. But the other key is Bijan Robinson didn't really have a big game. He was held in check, and you know their backup quarterback was playing, but Kirk Cousins was a starter in this league. It's not like he's a scrub, right? Like
Right. He's not a complete bum coming off the bench. You know what I mean? It's not like he wasn't playing at all like last year. You know what I mean?
right, right. It's just we caught him at a good time, I think. Also, but there's talent there. There's just inconsistency in Miami, and they go as Tua goes. If you're going to turn the ball over, you're going to make bonehead plays. You're going to lose games to better teams. But if you protect the ball, see the other game that we won, we didn't really turn the ball over against the Jets, right? I don't think we. Yeah, so like play a clean game, you have a good chance to win. But clean games don't happen often down South Florida.
Literally. And you had Wu-Tang in here saying and then Sean over here, Atlanta's fine, Kirk Cousins is dog water. It's crazy to me because I didn't think Michael Penix, in my opinion, makes Atlanta the best offense. You know what I mean? It's because of the weapons that he has around him. And so I didn't think Kirk Cousins coming in. Again, we've seen Kirk Cousins throw 400 yards at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've seen what he can do. So I didn't think it was going to be that much of a difference, but apparently it is. Wu-Tang gave the Jets even did the Jets even have a turnover? Well, you know what? It was a great win for you guys. Who do you guys play? Because I know the Jets have a bye week coming up. Who are you guys facing?
We play Baltimore on Thursday.
Oh, yeah. And Lamar is making his return finally. I'm debating whether or not I should put in Zay Flowers this week.
You might have to.
I know. So right now I'm rocking with JSN and Rashee Rice. And then my flex right now is Tyler Warren from the Colts. So I don't know. We'll see if I make any last minute adjustments, but it's never wide receiver or tight ends that are doing me dirty. It's I have the most atrocious running back room this week. So did you guys win? Did you win fantasy this week?
Yeah.
Oh, was it like close or?
Nah, I won by maybe 35 points.
But... Oh, and it's crazy going into Sunday Night Football. Oh, like the group chat was going off because some guy in my league literally had 17 points. I'm not joking.
What?
And we're over here like, what is the lowest number we've ever had? And he ended up with 37. But
Still
his,
nothing,
yeah,
right?
literally, I just couldn't believe it. And I was making fun of him. And I'm in a group with people I don't know besides one person. So I was like, I had to screenshot this dude because it was so bad. Like, I am like, it was like complete zeros. And, there were just a lot of odd games. Like, the Niners, like, even this week. McCaffrey, what was going on there? Kittle made his return, did a whole lot of nothing. So a lot of interesting games this week. Destino says, Destino, we appreciate having you on last week, by the way.
Destino.
And we appreciate your takes. Ravens favored by 7.5. What we thinking, guy?
Oh, that's tough, because they're in South Florida, but I know Lamar is from Miami or the Miami area, so I have a feeling that Lamar is going to want to show out. But their defense sucks, so I don't know if it's going to be like a blowout like that. It could be. It's just hard to really lock it in. Like, yeah, because the Dolphins could surprise in that game. Ravens have been arguably one of the biggest disappointments this year, but in that division, they still might have a chance, right? Like, nobody's running away with the North. They can get on a hot streak and steal the division, like almost like what the Steelers did a couple years ago.
Right. And I agree because he's coming in like back midway through the season. So there's still enough football left to kind of turn things around. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, that doesn't really apply to the New York Jets, but for some teams, it does. Now, I want to ask you, because, we talked about McDaniel and being on the hot seat to keep his job. How many wins does Miami need to have this year?
It's gonna take a miracle. I say at least 7 or 8, just to show that that they have some type of fight and pride, and they've shown it in spurts. But then you have a day like a couple weeks ago where they just lay an egg or lose on stupidity, late turnovers, and just I think they need a new voice anyway. I think the respect that they'll give him, if they play hard, he has his job for the rest of the year, and he's not going to get fired mid-year. But if they play like they did this past Sunday and give the effort, they might not win every game, but show something. I think McDaniels could get fired on good terms, where he might be able to land next year or the year after as an offensive coordinator somewhere.
Right. I agree there with you. I forgot to ask you, what are we rocking today with the gear?
Oh, I got a Jamaica soccer jersey. This for all the people out there in Jamaica going through the Hurricane Melissa devastation that's going out there. My prayers, thoughts to everybody out there.
Yeah, same as well. I'm glad you brought that up because Jamaica and then Cuba has even just been hit super hard. You know what I mean? So sending all our prayers out there. I know Wu-Tang mentioned AFC North is such a disappointment, and they have been, but the injury bug goes around like you were mentioning. So again, it's kind of still a little bit open in terms of the AFC North. And then Destino mentioned that the Ravens are only 2 games back of the Steelers for the division. Speaking of the Steelers, what did you think of Rodgers facing the Green Bay Packers for like the first time ever? That game did not go how I thought it would go at all.
No, it started off pretty good for them. Then the second half happened, kind of turned the tables. Packers ended up taking control. It was in Pittsburgh, so they had the home crowd with them. But it's crazy that it took that long for him to play the Packers, right? You would have thought by now, at least with the Jets, that they would have played them.
Literally.
But yeah, he's a little over the hill. So like for me, the matchup was kind of like he hasn't been there long enough in Pittsburgh for it to mean anything. And I think Green Bay's doing just fine without him. So like if Green Bay was bad and he went over there and they kind of like, beat him like this, then I think it would have meant a little more. But like Green Bay's one of the best teams in the league, I think. So like they haven't really missed a beat when he left Green Bay for New York.
Yeah, and I know it was kind of a little weird when he left. You know what I mean? He clearly felt some type of way, but I feel like all the drama with the Jets and how that went down literally wiped all of that out. So I don't know why
Yeah.
people were still overly hyping this game. He's been through some traumatic experiences, which one, the Achilles injury, and two, just being on the New York Jets can sometimes be torture enough for some people. I'll kind of get into that later because again, we had a trade with the Jets and the Eagles today. So we'll get into that here in a little. But any other games that you watched this past weekend that you were like interested by or
Yeah.
surprised by?
Well, we saw, I mean, I was surprised personally that the Bears lost the way that they did against the Ravens, especially with Scoop Huntley as the quarterback. Um, I saw what Scoop did for us last year in Miami, and he wasn't all that. But I guess he has a level of comfort out there in Baltimore. Uh, you know, a lot of people thought the Bears were coming into their own, and I thought that they missed a big opportunity to get a win where you know now their playoff chances are not as good as they once were, and it's going to be tough in that division, of course, with still more games to play with the Packers and the Lions. But like, you got to beat a team that has their backup quarterback going. I think in the NFL, especially if you have playoff aspirations. With the bad defense that the Ravens have, I think Caleb Williams really missed the mark. Um, and you're going to get Jekyll and Hyde performances from young guys, but it's part of the growing pains that are happening in Chicago. Some weeks are going to look good. Some weeks are going to, lay an egg.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised. Well, there are a couple things I was surprised by. Buffalo got off to a rough start against the Panthers. I know they ended up pulling it out and breaking away, but that first half, I mean, I don't know what was going on. It's been very disappointing considering I'm a Josh Allen fantasy owner because I'm like, dude, he is like not. This is NFL MVP last year. He is not looking NFL anywhere near close to where he was looking, what he was looking like last year. This year, it does not look like the same person. Again, they ended up breaking away, but there are some of those really like odd starts to the game as well. I'm glad too that Denver finally looks back in their regular form
No.
because they haven't looked themselves the last couple of weeks. You know what I mean? And I mean the Jets were included in that as well. So finally they got off. They finally picked up steam. And there was another game on here that I was looking at too that got off to like a slow, just weird start. I'm trying to remember the Chiefs. The Chiefs again. There's more of a second half, but I didn't like how they were playing in the first half. That game was very sloppy to
Yeah.
start. Just turnover, turnover, turnover. I'm like, someone needs to get in the damn end zone because I'm not staying up on Sunday night, or sorry, Monday night for this.
Yeah, and what's scary is that the Chiefs are looking like maybe the best team in the AFC, and I don't know. The Commanders have had a lot of injury problems, but the Chiefs just are steady and they're just ascending, and they keep ascending. And I think, what is it, this week they play the Bills
Uh-huh.
Chiefs. I mean, that's going to be a great test for both teams, right? Like, where do they stand in the pecking order in the AFC, right? We might learn a lot about Buffalo, or we might learn a lot about Kansas City, or a little bit of both, right? We're
Right.
looking for Josh Allen, right? This is a big stage for him to do something.
I mean, he's always great against them regular season. It's the
Right.
playoffs where it starts to become an issue. But I just really haven't liked the way that, again, the way that he's looked, and the Bills' defense is not that great either.
No.
Um, which makes it kind of disappointing because, like, obviously at the time it was week 2, the Jets, when we faced them, I could just tell that this was, if had we had a competent quarterback, that I felt like we would have performed better. And
Yeah.
we always play them tough. And it's just like in my head, they look beatable every single week. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for that matchup. I expect it to be a little high scoring, hopefully, because I need all the points I can get. Sean says Colts surely the best team in the AFC. I mean, numbers don't lie, records don't lie.
But they got to do it when it counts, though. We could trust the Chiefs in a big spot. I want to see what the Colts do in a big game when they need to win. I'm not
Right.
taking anything from them or their season, but if they, let's say they make it to the playoffs, are they one of those teams that are going to get clipped in the first round, or one and done? Great
Mm-hmm.
regular season, but now like Daniel Jones gets exposed in the playoffs, or is this who they are? I mean, until the Chiefs get knocked off, it's like they're right there. They're like the new Patriots, and I hate it, but prove
Yeah.
me wrong, Colts.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor right now is on
Oh
just
yeah.
a tirade, like he is.
I mean, in reality, he should be the MVP of the league right now. I mean, if
Exactly.
we're not so biased towards quarterbacks,
Quarterbacks.
he's been the biggest difference maker on any team right now. It's him.
And it's consistency for me at the same time. And he's been consistent every single week. So One Ring says, Guy, get ready for the Jets because we are so back. Jets going on a 10-game winning streak.
Oh, come on. Is this what the Jets fans do? You get one win, and now it's like we're going
We
on a
don't know
10-game
how
winning
to
streak.
act. We don't know how to act. But you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about the New York Jets because just the whole day was a roller coaster of emotion. So of course I want to start out by we send love and prayers over to the victims that are unfortunately affected by Hurricane Melissa, but of course unfortunately the day of the game in the morning, Nick Mangold, we received the news that Nick Mangold had unfortunately passed away, and that is a New York Jets icon. He's a legend. And if you look at everyone who's ever been around him or worked with him, they all have the same things to say. Just good player on the field, great person, and even better person off the field. And it's undeniable. I don't know if you saw Rex Ryan talking about it. I wanted to cry. That was
That was
tough.
sad to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even as a competitor, he was a guy that you respected. He was a Pro Bowl, offensive lineman who was tough. He was part of the good years, back when the Jets were good. Like he was one of the leaders, and as a competitor, like you respected everything he brought to the table, right? Like you knew what you were going to get with him, and like you said, from what I heard, he was a great person too. So my condolences to him and his family, to his family and friends.
Yeah, and
41 years old is pretty young.
yeah, and all to kidney disease. So, and if you're unfamiliar with what happened just weeks prior, he had reached out to the New York Jets and Ohio State communities because he needed a kidney transplant, and things took a major turn very quickly. So, all our thoughts to his family and friends. It was very devastating news, and I hated that the day got off on a somber note. And then come the first half, I mean, the New York Jets really didn't look that great. They were moving the ball more than they normally do, but I was like, here we are. It's either we're not getting in the end zone. I was like, field goal. Okay. And then it was, a couple of 3-and-outs. And then, you had that touchdown pass, which was beautifully thrown by Justin Fields, I might add. And that's the way we kind of went out in the half. And I was like, okay, like I wasn't thinking much of it. And then finally, if you're a Brees Hall fantasy owner, you have been waiting for this moment because I have been waiting for Brees Hall to finally pop off. He had 3 total TDs on Sunday. I mean, the fourth quarter comeback was just amazing. I truly couldn't believe it. And I truly believe that the New York Jets won that game because of Nick Mangold. It was just there's so many little like coincidences in the game. The offensive line was damn near perfect. And Justin Fields, I think for someone who had the week that he had, and of course I'm talking about Woody Johnson, pretty much we'll talk about that guy here in a second, but Woody Johnson pretty much throwing Justin Fields under the bus with his comments earlier that week. I can't imagine someone's mentality going into a game on Sunday knowing that, hey, he said this about me. He's also the one paying me. And now I have to go out here knowing we're in this 0-7 type of situation. And to play that the way that he did, I think it speaks a lot to his character. And you know what, guy? Let's talk about Woody Johnson. I want to get your thoughts first on his comments and what you think about them.
I mean, those comments. I mean, it was rather strange for an owner to talk about their starting quarterback in that way, mid-season to boot. I think those are things that a smarter owner or even a business person will just keep their mouth shut. You don't really have to say those things. And if you do feel that way, address them behind closed doors, keep it in-house. You have the right to feel how you feel, but there's a way to express it in the right way. Going about it through the media, never the best way to handle it, especially in New York, right? They're going to eat that up, and they did. And if it wasn't for Tyrod Taylor getting hurt in practice, who knows if Justin Fields ever starts a game for the rest of the year, right? But of course, as fate would have it, here's Justin Fields again, having to start after all that, right? And I think in a way, so like there's a part of me that thinks maybe Woody Johnson was crazy like a fox trying to light a fire under his ass and trying to like, piss him off to try to like get something more out of him. But I don't want to give Woody Johnson that much credit for being that smart, right? But it could have been a psychological thing, right? But you're really running a risk if you don't know the man, and he could have internalized it and really like you could have broken him, which is something that you don't want to do, right? And especially a team that hasn't won yet, that all these things are happening. Like you want to be supportive and show your leadership. I thought that showed weak leadership from the outside looking in. Like it's a mess, right? But you're seeing it coming from the top. And I know a lot of fellow Jets fans like yourself wish you had a different owner and are petitioning him to sell the team. There's strong campaigns out there to get his ass out of there, so.
Literally. And what's funny is he initially declined comments. And then when he said all of that, he only spoke and answered questions for 7 minutes. And in that 7 minutes, you have 1,000,001 snippets that people have pieced apart. And it just got progressively worse. And I'm like, who is your publicist? Like, and I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to defend Aaron Glenn because he's invested a lot of money in Aaron Glenn. He's put a lot of time and effort. He hired someone, the 33rd team, to go and get Aaron Glenn. So I think he was trying to defend Aaron Glenn, but he did it the wrong way, which is by throwing Justin Fields under the bus. Like what he said was true. Justin Fields has not performed well. But again, I don't think he needs to be publicly. He's already aware of that. You don't need to make him, you don't need to publicly put that out there. We're all aware of it, except some Justin Fields truthers, I might add. But Gene says, Woody sucks. Brees overrated, gave AG and Fields time. Do not start with me and the Fields talk because you know what? I'll talk about Justin Fields for a second because I haven't been his biggest fan. I never kind of wanted him here. We can go on and on. But I give credit where credit is due. He played very well on Sunday. Will he be that way the next couple of weeks? I have no idea. And I will believe it when I see it. And even though we won and he played well, it's not enough to convince me that he is our quarterback moving forward. It's not enough at all. Again, I mentioned it when I was talking about even Jonathan Taylor. Consistency. That's what I'm looking for. And we haven't seen that since week 1. And that's like, I guess I might as well do some of my rant already, because I've had people already come into me, the Justin Fields truthers, as I call them, all in my face and thinking, see, you are wrong. He proved you wrong, XYZ, whatever argument they want to send in the DM because they're having a conversation with themselves. I'm not a Justin Fields hater. You know what I mean? But look at the product he has put out there. It has not been good. And it's funny because the Justin Fields truthers will blame everyone else. Oh, he doesn't have receivers. Oh, he doesn't have this. He doesn't have a good O-line. All these other factors. But you can't blame himself, though. It drives me absolutely nuts. I admit that I have been critical of him. But I give credit where credit is due. He did very well. The O-line was well. We were without our best 2 most paid players on the field. We were without Sauce. We were without Garrett. Again, some of these offensive guys, like Isaiah Williams, he was AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Tyler Johnson. Everyone just contributed like equally. I don't think I'm not going to go so far as like Justin Fields was the factor in them winning the game. Aaron Glenn was also very gutsy. He knew when to go for it on 4th down. To go for that first 2-point conversion. I mean, I love the confidence. I thought Tanner Engstrand was very good with the play calling as well. So, I'm not ready to sit here and, give Justin Fields like our future, or as Gene would say, comeback player of the year. All righty. And then someone else mentioned in here, we're going on a 10-game win streak. What? Like, this team went on a 7-game losing streak, and now we're going on a 10-game win streak. Get out of here. That is absolutely crazy. Sean asks, do you think Fields played well? The Bengals are just horrible. It's a mix of both.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a mix of both. And I think, what's their head coach's name? I'm blanking on his name for a second.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I think he wasn't as prepared. I thought he was outcoached, honestly, by Aaron Glenn a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think
Zach Taylor.
I think they went into the game a little bit just acting like this was an easy win. You know what I mean? And we kind of got them on their heels a little bit. But no, it's a mix of both. Bengals defense is terrible. You know what I mean? But they were still able. The Jets defense was not that good in the first half. They made some adjustments. They took away the passing game a lot, but the Bengals ran all over us. So it's a mix of both. I know Johnny Boy over here, Fields, that man is him. Here, see, this is what I mean. The Justin Fields truthers. It's the same as the ones that love Zach Wilson and never wanted to get rid of him. Wide receivers the week before were working at Walmart other than Arian Smith. Exactly. So, what is your opinion about Justin Fields based on that one game?
I mean, it's if we're gonna go through the larger sample size, he hasn't performed to his capabilities or what the expectations were. I think a lot of things happened on Sunday. It was an emotionally charged day, so that might have worked in their favor as well. And the defense that they played wasn't great. They're historically a terrible defense. So there was an opportunity for an upset. And I think in recent history, the Jets have done well against Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
I remember maybe 15 years ago. It was like the last week of the season, Sunday night game. They needed a win, and they won. And to get into the playoffs, they whooped the Bengals ass in MetLife, you know, and it just the Bengals are one of those teams that are known to do this, right? They look good against the Steelers a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
laid an egg. And I think to your point though, they thought it was going to be an easy game,
Mhm.
and it's any given Sunday, right? You can't really take any.
Oh, I guess it's just me for the time being. It's okay. Um, let's see. I want to make sure I got all these comments here. Gene says, to be fair, we haven't seen Brees been consistent yet in his career. That is very true. And with Brees, it's very interesting with the trade deadline coming up, what's going to happen. Sorry, guy. You're
That's
back.
all right. I'm back.
It's okay. I want to let you finish really quickly because then I started talking about Brees Hall for a second.
Yeah, no, I think you know, with all that being said, you know, I think it was just a perfect storm of emotion and opportunity. And you know, I think he it was his prove it game too. You know, like his back was against the wall. He had to do something really to save his career, right? Because like another loss, another bad loss, and it's like it's going to be hard to find a job going forward because the Jets were fully ready to pull the trigger and go with Taylor as their quarterback for the rest of the year.
Right. We were mentioning Brees. So I was talking about Brees Hall while you were off for a second because Gene was talking about we haven't seen Brees been consistent. With the trade deadline and the way Brees performed this past week, do you think, in your opinion, is he going to be traded?
I think that's one of the best things that could have happened this game is to rise his trade stock. You know, you might get a little bit more for him now, or maybe a contender that needs a running back sees that, wow, this is what could happen if he's in a better situation, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, like, does he have the talent? Sure, he does, right? But like you said, the consistency hasn't been there throughout his career. Um, his first year was really good, right? Like
Mhm.
he came on the scene, we like, wow, we got one of the brightest young running backs coming in, and then you know injuries happen, you know, things of that nature. I think he's going to be all right. He just, to me, he looks like he needs a change of scenery to be reinvigorated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still just, I don't know what's going to happen with him, to be honest. If you're not going to pay him, then let him go. You know,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, I think that's the question. If you're not going to pay him, just let him go and get something for him. Um, again, it's like I sometimes feel like he's maybe been the odd one out because we have a promising running back in Braylon Allen. And this past week, we got to see what we have in Isaiah Davis. And I feel like running backs, you can always get those in the draft. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We're going to see. Obviously, the Jets are making moves. They sent Michael Carter the second and a pick over to the Eagles in return for a 6th-round pick, and obviously Mechie, the third. And that's very interesting to me. I'm not saying that brings us over some hump that we're at, but Mechie's still very young or pretty young. Unfortunately, he had leukemia, and so I feel like just it's been hard to get back into a system. And the Eagles are loaded over there, so it makes sense why he wasn't playing. So there is a spot for him as you know a hopefully true wide receiver too. But Michael Carter the second, I'm not surprised by that. He's also been, we paid him, and then that's when, of course, the injury starting, and he hasn't looked that great, to be honest. We paid some of these players that we've given a lot of money to haven't looked great. Him, and then Jamie and Sherwood, even. I think he was benched in the first quarter. We gave him a lot of money. He hasn't been performing as well. Mind you, I loved Michael Carter the second. You know what I mean? And when he got paid, he absolutely deserved it, but just hasn't necessarily looked right. And I know what the staff is trying to do. You're trying to build around your guys and you want to get your guys in. So who knows? Maybe some of that money Maybe it'll go to a Brees Hall extension. We don't know, but obviously the trade deadline, I believe, is next week. So time will tell on that. Destino says, Mechie, former second rounder, let's see him play. Again, it's very interesting. It's intriguing, but at the same time, too, when I looked at this game, I mean, other players had a great game. Mason Taylor had a great game. What's his name? Tyler Johnson had a great game. We saw what we had in Isaiah Williams and Arian Smith. So, I mean, it is kind of wide open in terms of wide receiver, too. So, all righty. Well, let me start by saying we appreciate you all joining us this evening. Always appreciate it. Keep them comments coming. We love it. I know we got Johnny Boy in here. We got Sean. We got Destino. All happy to have you guys here. Let's shift a little bit to some NBA talk. And Guy, you have to be feeling good with how the Spurs have been playing.
Oh,
I mean, it's
man.
been incredible. Wemby's been awesome and fantastic to watch. What are your kind of thoughts on the Spurs so far?
I tried telling people this year we were going to take another step forward, and I expected Wemby to be an MVP caliber player. I mean, he's easily a top 10 player in the league right now, and he's pushing top 5. And he's only 21. What he did in the offseason, going visiting the Shaolin monks out in Tibet and working with Kevin Garnett and Hakeem Olajuwon, really perfecting his craft. He wasn't out partying and popping bottles. He was, working on his body and his mentality. He's not your average 21-year-old. He's wise beyond his years, and he loves the game. And let me tell you, Wemby, his defense also changes the game. Just his blocks alone, they're the best defensive team in the league right now. It's a small sample size, but they were kind of that last year too, before the blood clot, in his shoulder. They're doing this without De'Aaron Fox, who might be their second best player. I mean, look, we got back-to-back rookies of the year. Stephon Castle is an excellent player. I like how he runs the point. Ron Harper Jr., our draft pick, number 2 overall from Rutgers, Jersey. He's looking every bit of a great pick as well. We have a lot of draft stock in the next few years. Like, we're in prime position actually to make a trade for a star if we wanted to. And we haven't lost yet as until now. I think we're 4-0. We haven't been 4-0 in a long time. So, and this is coming from a team that made the playoffs like 22 years in a row. Never started off 5-0, I don't think. I think I saw that stat before, but they're building around Wemby, and it's special. And I think there's going to be a collision course between them and OKC for the next couple of years. I think that rivalry is about to rekindle, and the West is going to be going through those two teams in the next decade or so, or at least the next 7 years.
Let's pull up Johnny Boy's comment again, because Guy, I want you to address this. He was like, Dolphins, Mets, Spurs, and Devils fan. I guess explain why you're a fan of all of those teams.
Yeah, the Mets,
You're from?
I'm from the area. I'm
Right.
in Jersey, but that's one of the local teams. They won on my birth year, so 86 Mets. I was there for the ride as a newborn. So I stuck with them. Dolphins because Dan Marino. That was the first person that I really gravitated to as a young kid. Seeing him throw the ball like that, there was nobody playing the quarterback position that way. The Spurs, what they built with Tim Duncan. Like, I was a big Tim Duncan guy when he was in Wake Forest. And then just seeing how they're a family and how they play the game the right way and how humble he was, that's what brought me to the Spurs, and the way that they just carry themselves with excellence and grace and humility. And the Devils, because it's Jersey all day. That's the only Jersey team that we have. So it's Jersey all day. I think we're still the best team in the NHL right now. So, hey, not looking bad. I mean, Dolphins might be down, but the Spurs and Devils are right there.
Mm-hmm. Any other teams so far that you've been impressed by? I know it's, again, a very small sample size, but any other teams that you're like, oh, okay.
Um, you know, I've seen a couple of games here. Like I'm I'm still impressed with OKC, to believe it or not, without Jalen Williams. Like they're still playing at this high level. I mean, that's probably their second best player, and they're still, winning games that they could be losing. Like they played 2 overtime games to start off the year. They could have lost one of those games, but that championship DNA, that's what makes them dangerous. They have that now, they have that championship DNA, right? Where they're battle tested and the adversity, you know, SGA is just an animal. So like I think the margin of victory is going to be a bigger thing when Williams gets back healthy. Like
Mm-hmm.
that team is just, to me, the best team in the league. They might repeat, even though it's hard to do. But that defense, the way that they all buy into defense, is something that you don't really see any other team doing besides maybe the Spurs. But everybody else, like let's say the Knicks, if they all bought in defensively, they would be a lot better, right? But to me,
Mm-hmm.
they're a little bit of a disappointment right now, being that their expectations, they lost a couple of games where they could have won. uh, they fired the coach and thinking that this was the last chip to fall for them to, you know, get that finals win that they've been searching for since the 70s. So like it's still a lot to be seen here, but um, I've been watching some players too. I think the Greek Freak has been impressing me too.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee hasn't dropped off that much, right? They thought that they would because Damian Lillard's no longer there, and Lopez is no longer there. But him and Miles Turner, they still have something. If he's putting up games like that in the East, they still have a puncher's chance.
Mm-hmm. Cooper Flag, I think, has looked good as well so far. And the Suns, and I know Johnny Boy has a question over here. The Suns, I don't have much to say about them. They're playing right now, but they look exactly how I thought they would look, and I'm not impressed whatsoever. And so Johnny Boy says, question for Guy. Can you ask Abs when she's becoming a Mets and Knicks fan? Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, that is a no for both. Gotta support the
Yeah.
Diamond. I gotta
Uh,
support the home team somewhere.
well, you know what? Sean actually reminded me about the 76ers. Yeah, they have started off very well. Thank you, Sean, for that reminder. The What Maxi's doing with Edgecombe, uh, they might be the best backcourt in the league right now, right? Like it's hard to give them that title. Just Edgecombe playing like 4 or 5 games already in his career, but based off the what we've seen so far, you could project that this, you know, Philadelphia was on its way, you know, down the tubes, right? And Maxi looks like he took another step in his growth and development. And yeah, he's looked really good. I forgot about Philadelphia. They've gone out to a pretty good start, but it's only been a little over a week.
Right. And I personally always keep an eye on the players that went to U of A. Of course, you had Aaron Gordon putting up 50 points just the other day.
Big
Um,
performance.
yeah, Laurie Markkinen with Utah the other
50.
day. Yeah, and I like the additions that Utah has made with their little rookies, because you got Clayton over there and then Ace Bailey too. Obviously they played the Suns over the weekend, but they were it was interesting to watch. Sean also says Edge is averaging 22, which is crazy when you have guys averaging 40 points in the backcourt with you. I think that speaks to your point, guy. And Reeves and Lori too. Lori putting up 52 or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I feel like I've just noticed like a few just standout players. A lot of the 50-pointers, all in that matter of a small time frame, was a lot. Seemed like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's look, this era is a little bit softer, so to be fair, the pace of play in the softer game kind of like breeds more scoring. It's kind of easier to score now than ever, especially the 3-point shot. If you could make a three and you're kind of could get your own shot off, it's not unconceivable that you can't drop maybe a 50-point game, right? Like in this league, but
right. Well, we got the Suns playing the Grizzlies right now. It just started, but it's 13-11 in case anyone cared, and I will make you guys care. On to another game that's on right now, and what's been an exciting series, and that, of course, is the World Series with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. And currently, right now, it's the top of the 7th. Blue Jays up 3-1. Guy, I'm going to ask you first before I get your thoughts on the series so far. Did you stay up and watch all of those 18 innings?
Yeah, I was one of the crazy people that did.
Oh, I called it. It was 11 my time, and I think it was like the 15th, and I was like, I'm done because I don't really like either two teams. I hate the Dodgers, and so I was like, you know what? Sleep right now is more important than this game. And I was like, it's gonna end on a home run. That's exactly how it ended with Freddie Freeman. And I was like, I didn't miss anything because I knew this would happen. I thought it would have just have happened sooner. But want to get your thoughts on the series so far. It's been very exciting, to say the least.
Yeah, right? Like everybody, and look, the Dodgers are the standard of excellence in the game, right? But going into this, I gave the Blue Jays a puncher's chance. If they were able to score runs and apply pressure, they could make this a series. Right now they're up 4-1 in the 7th inning. So, the Dodgers could be down 3-2 having to go to Toronto to win both of those games. Could they do it? Of course. But, this is more of a must win for the Blue Jays, I think, because Yamamoto is pitching game 6, and his last 2 starts, he had a complete game in both games, just shutting down the opposition. The Blue Jays have a really good lineup, and Yamamoto was unhittable that game. We're seeing Vladimir Guerrero really show why he's one of the best players in the league. Just putting the team on his back. He's batting second today, and he was the second of those first 2 home runs in this important game 5. So first 2 pitches, home runs, right? Set the tone. But, to the Dodgers' credit, they kept it close. I just like the approach that Toronto has at the plate, right? They don't strike out a lot. They put the ball in play. They're tough at bats. They grind, and they're not always trying to hit home runs. They move base runners. They can move the base runners, hit situationally. That's kind of what you want, right? In a tough lineup. You don't want guys that could always strike out, because that's been the Yankees' problem, is that they don't move runners over. They rely too much on the home run. But what really hurts the opposing pitcher? Making him work constantly, every inning, grinding out at bats, putting the ball in play. Maybe the defense will make an error, right? So like you don't give your team a chance if you strike out. So I like how aggressive Toronto has been. They just haven't been like, oh, it's the Dodgers. Oh, like just being defeated before the game even starts. Like they're like, no, we deserve to be there, and we're going to give them our best shot.
Right. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I thought the Dodgers would look just a lot more better than the Blue Jays. To be honest, I thought they would kind of run away with it, and that hasn't been the case at all, which I love, because I hate all LA teams. I can't stand the Dodgers, so I'm like, oh, alrighty there. But I'm glad you mentioned making them work for it, because who would have known that game would have gone down to 18 innings? I mean, you ran through all of your pitchers. You know what I mean? And I think in moments like that, it's like making them work for it. And it all comes down doing it back to the basics, hitting the ball, that's what makes college softball so hard, because it's not necessarily about the home runs. It's just about being fast and being able to move the ball. I get everything's like shortened in that lane,
Right.
but that's why I appreciate it more, because it's little things like that do count. Put that question back up about the Halloween, since it is on Friday. Favorite horror / slasher movies. Are you a horror fan? Oh my God. Don't tell me you're one of those like, I get scared.
Yeah, that don't scare me. Like, I need like real life situations to happen and maybe, like knock me off my cool center. It's like to me, a lot of horror films are kind of predictable. So it's like, okay. I mean, if they're psychological, they kind of like are, like a mind F at the same time, maybe I'll be invested, but like just the regular, hack and slash ones is like, you see one, you've seen them all kind of thing. But to each their own.
I mean, I like horror movies. I love scary movies. They're my favorite. I love all of the Conjuring series. I love all of the Halloween movies. I know they did that. I think there's a thing on Netflix right now about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Ed Gein. I want to say I haven't caught it yet because I'm too busy watching like 3 other shows. So I have to pick and choose. But I love The Exorcist, and I actually just watched this weekend Weapons, which I know was in the theaters, and they put it on HBO Max. I loved it. I thought it was a great movie, so I was super happy to see that. Again, not really, well, it was horror aspects, but it was more like suspenseful to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I thought that movie was really good. Nothing scares me anymore. I feel like I've seen it all. One movie that I think doesn't get enough credit sometimes is The Others with Nicole Kidman. And then I was watching the other day, I need to finish it. I started rewatching The Sixth Sense, which is a classic, as you might know. So Jean says Weapons is great. She was a legit witch. He's a Dolphins fan. That's a true horror film, says Johnny Boy.
I mean, if that's the case, then what is the Jets? Like,
I was going to say the Jets are just a nightmare of a team. And Shaquille, I haven't seen a lot of good horror flicks in a while. That's the thing with the horror films. It's hard to find a good one. That's why I was thoroughly surprised with Weapons. I actually really like The Nun. Again, part of the Conjuring universe, but The Nun for me was actually scary in some ways. The first one, not the second one. Want to stand clear on that because they're both very different. But G says Others was great, awesome ending. Exactly. It was a great movie. I saw that in the theaters too. So Halloween coming up. Guy, really quickly before we get back into sports talk, do you have any plans? Are you dressing up?
Hell no.
I thought you would dress up as Tua and scare away all the kids.
No, I don't. I'm already very emotionally scarred for him for him being my quarterback. So I don't want to do that for me. If I see myself in the mirror looking like him, I might have to miss work. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt the pockets.
I know. And Shaquille says, I randomly stumbled upon Megan on Peacock after I watched NXT Halloween Havoc. Megan's a really good movie. It actually there's movies where I think have like really good dance scenes. That is one. Just random dance scenes. Her little dance in there is good. The same thing with, I just thought of the movie and now I forgot the title. Oh, Split has a really good, like, just weird dance segment. It's like throws off the whole movie. That's why it's like perfectly timed. But Pop Sports, which is our network, please like and subscribe. If I haven't mentioned that enough, want to like and subscribe there. Dark State regained the tag team championship.
Wrestling.
And that's not my thing, because for me, I don't know if I even consider that a sport. And I know I'm going to upset plenty of fans in here right now, but
Sports
it's not.
entertainment.
It's not interesting. It's not like the only thing that's interesting that comes from it is the gifts that they make. Like
Yeah, yeah,
the just runs from like the rock, but it's always the old school ones. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Johnny Boy says paranormal activity, the one with the Hispanic grandma praying in Spanish. Sean says it's acting, not a sport. I agree. There we go. Thank you.
Well, the moves that they do are athletic, right?
I will say that because I think I mentioned it on here. I watched a documentary of, I forget her name. She was in wrestling for a long time, and the toll it does take on their bodies. I'm not doubting that they're athletic. Is it a sport?
Yeah, you have to be coordinated with the person that you're in the ring with, right? Because if it wasn't a sport per se, it's not a traditional sport like Greco-Roman wrestling, but it's in a way almost like a coordinated dance that you're doing with the person that you're in the ring with. So like the landings are real, and some of the moves that you have to really do are real. So like when you're putting your body on the line, I think it does border like a sport where it asks your body for certain things, because like anybody can't just go out there and wrestle is my point. Like you have to train, and it's a certain skill set to actually do that at a high level and not hurt yourself or kill yourself.
I mean, okay. Let me just go back a little. So in the Olympics, they obviously included breakdancing.
Yeah,
Is that a sport?
it can be. Yeah, I think it can be, but when it's done the right way. Like if you're looking at like the Rocksteady crew, or all the all the old school guys that did those things, like that takes athleticism to do. Like it's not using a ball or some type of stick or whatever the case may be. It's like you're using athleticism and doing it in a way where, if gymnastics is a sport, why can't breakdancing be a sport? Especially the floor when they do their dance routines. So like that's similar enough where you're both doing some type of athletic activity.
Okay. I can know, and I was just asking that simply because you compared wrestling to being almost like a dance. So in my head, I was just making sure that you saw dance as
Oh,
a form of a sport. Then,
no, a dance is where you and your partner have to be on the same page, almost like a dance, like if let's say you guys are dancing like salsa or bachata, right? And like
mm-hmm.
you're kind of like moving one way and your partner's going the other way and it doesn't look right. But when you guys are both in sync, it looks a lot nicer, right? It's like, oh shit, like they know what they're doing, like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of like what wrestling is, like to keep each other safe and not get hurt. Like there's a coordination of moves that have to be done, and you have to be on the same page mentally. Like, look, this is the things that we have to do. Let's go through it and not get hurt so we could go back and do it tomorrow or next week, because they got to go back to their families. So like it's tough. Like I'm telling you, especially nowadays with the stuff that they're doing, it's tough to do that like 300 times a year. It's very demanding.
I would not know because I have not been watching it. We got a score update here, 5-1, bottom of the seventh. Time is running out for the Dodgers to hurry up and get caught up there. Johnny Boy, breakdancing is tough. I can bring a whole bunch of homeboys that would tell you that. No, that I agree. It is tough. I mean, I'm not. I mean, it actually the shoulders and everything, and the way they be twisting their bodies. It's a whole mix of like strength and flexibility and all those different aspects. So, Sean says it's acting and not a sport. And Guy, you said it's sport entertainment. You didn't say it's a sport.
Right.
They're not. Are wrestlers athletes or
Yes.
are they athletic?
I think both, because there's people that come from an athletic background that maybe played football or were wrestlers, that are athletes, they're gold medal athletes, some of them, like Kurt Angle. He was a gold medal wrestler. He's an athlete. Brock Lesnar was a UFC fighter also. Like these guys had other things that they did. Other guys had basketball backgrounds and whatever the case may be. Like so it would benefit you to have a sport that you played that maybe like that didn't go, but you have the athletic skill set that can transfer into doing professional wrestling where like you can still make money off of your athleticism. So to be athletic takes like to be a wrestler, it takes more than just being athletic. You have to be an athlete because the athleticism that you have has to be able to transfer into something nice, not
Mhm.
just you jump around and do that. It's so coordinated that there's such a mental aspect of it that a lot of people don't understand. Like it could go wrong very easily, but they're so good at what they do. Like they really limit that.
Okay, let me ask you one more question. Is golf a sport?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, and golfers to you are athletes.
Yes, because the thing that see like the things that they ask of these athletes are different. Like golf is a very mental sport and precision and technique. Not everything is just about like running and strength and speed, right? It's about precision and hand-eye coordination and you know knowing how to use the elements and angles. So like golf is more of a mental game, than other sports, right? So like different sports ask different things of you. I'll
Right.
say.
No, I agree. All righty. And I mean, I used to golf. So like in high school I golfed, and it is like it's I hate how people make it look like sometimes that it's just easy. It's not as easy as getting the ball in the hole. You know what I mean? It's like the swing, perfecting your swing it's the same thing as like baseball. You know what I mean? It's very hard to correct it if you're really trying to make a shift. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of time, and it's just that muscle memory. But when you've been doing something so way for so long, um, it makes it that much harder. I always think too, like, Corbin Carroll for the Diamondbacks, he switched up his swing. And I just can't imagine how long that must have taken. And it's made a difference. That's what I'm saying. It's made all the difference in the world, in terms of his batting and whatnot. So
Right.
Sean says golf 100,000% is a sport. And golf and tennis are the two hardest sports. People just don't want to talk about it. Tennis, I will say, it's so much work. You know what I mean? The speed at which the ball is coming at you, the amount of strength you got to have. Again, it's being quick on your toes, as well. And again, sometimes it's all just one person back there, unless you're playing like doubles. Um, but yeah, it's a lot. So I definitely agree. I want to do some quick spreads with you.
All right.
For some of I like doing that when we did it, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So I want to go over some quick spreads with you, for the NFL games this weekend. Okay, we're going to start with, of course, your game on, mind you, that I'm using FanDuel as of right now.
Okay.
So Baltimore at Miami, of course, Ravens by 7.5.
And being that it's home, I'm gonna take the points. Actually, I'm gonna say the Ravens win, but less than 7.5.
I think I'm going to take Ravens at 7.5. All right. Carolina at Green Bay. Packers, 13.5.
13.5. It's a lot.
Panthers are without Bryce Young this week.
Yeah, and they're not going to Andy Dalton, right? Like he's
Mhm.
you know what? I'm taking the Packers. I'll take that.
I'm trying to see if they even have anything up yet. Did you not see? Because they didn't. Well, it says Bryce Young is in here.
Oh, he's coming back this week?
Interesting. I guess apparently. But it was funny last week if you were trying to bet, or last weekend if you were trying to bet on like the Jets game, there was like nothing showing up because of course they waited until Saturday to like announce who the quarterback was, and of course it was Justin Fields. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
All right. So even with Bryce Young being back, you're still taking Packers 13.5.
Yeah, reluctantly, but yeah.
I'm actually gonna take the plus 13.5 for the Panthers. I think Green Bay will win. I just think at least by like 10, maybe. I don't think it's gonna be that much of a blowout. All right, okay. Let me get back here. Let's go to Minnesota Vikings at Detroit Lions. Lions at minus 8.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions. They're at home, and the Vikings quarterback issues.
Well, I don't know. What do you think they're going to make a trade for a quarterback?
They might have to, but I thought, McCarthy was their guy, right? They kind of went all in for this.
I
They had
know,
Sam Darnold.
I know, but it's just we have a small sample size of McCarthy, unfortunately, and then poor Carson Wentz. My goodness, I think that whole situation is very sketchy to me. If I'm being very honest, I think he was a lot more hurt. He was already playing hurt to some extent, but I think it was a lot worse than what we're being led on. And the fact that he got hurt on the play that he did, and I don't know, something just doesn't feel right about that.
Yeah, I hope he's able to come back soon. But and that's one of them things. Like he knows that maybe his opportunities are dwindling. So like you might sacrifice it and play hurt, right? And unfortunately, he got hurt on Sunday. But
Sean says Addison for 204 TDs. You must have him for fantasy.
yeah, I hope he does because I have him on fantasy.
I do. So I put him in last week. I don't know what I'm going to do this week yet. That Lions defense, it's funny. They look a little better without Aaron Glenn, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Oh, and Sean says absolutely. We all have a stake in that game a little bit.
That's right.
You're taking the Lions right now, 8.5. All right, and I will too. All right, let's move on. Atlanta at the New England Patriots. Patriots by 5.5.
See, it's tough because I could definitely see the Falcons making it close, but I'm going Patriots all day.
I'm going Patriots at home, and the Patriots, I am terrified when the Jets have to play them because I don't know how that game is going to go. It could really easily be a blowout. I mean, Drake May is making a case for himself over
Looking
there.
good out there, huh?
England.
Yeah.
I know. After what I said, I wasn't on the train. You know what I mean? That train hopefully derails sometime soon. All right. Broncos at the Houston Texans. Texans only by 1.5.
That's a very interesting, but I'm going Broncos on that one.
This is hard. I will too. I'll go. I think I'm going to go Broncos too. Maybe it's because I have Sutton in there.
Yeah, same here.
A little bit of biasness. No, I think that because of the way the Broncos played last week, I feel like again they just kind of got out of their funk a little bit. Either way, they've still been winning. You know what I mean? So I think that speaks for something in itself. So Sean says Texans by 35. All right. We got the Niners heading over to MetLife as they're facing the New York Giants. They got the Niners by 2.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the Niners.
I will too. The Niners again disappointing last week, but I think they bounced back, and the Giants are just a little beat up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's Scatabo, his injury this week, that was
Saw his
nasty.
ankle.
It did a 360.
Yeah, it was like
It was hanging very awkwardly. And I mean, he knew it right away too. And that's just completely unfortunate because just when him and Jackson Dart were finally getting off on a little bit of a hot streak, that happened. So, I mean, just two big injuries for that team with Neighbors first and then Scattaboo right after. So,
at least for them, they have their future is kind of bright though for the skill
mhm.
positions.
They have hope.
They have hope.
The Jets gave me hope after they got a win.
Yeah.
Let's see how long that lasts for, though. Gene, I hate the Giants. I know Gene hates the Giants more than the Patriots. It's crazy.
That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate the Patriots more than anything.
100%.
So, all right, we got the Colts heading to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have the Colts by 3.
I like that. I'll take the Colts.
It's hard to go against the Colts. They're just doing so well right now. And the Steelers defense that was supposed to be superb, to be honest, hasn't looked like much to me. And they probably exposed themselves like week 1. You could arguably say so against Justin Fields when I know they lost, but Justin Fields and the Jets, that kind of it should have been the indicator. And again, they have not looked great at all. I'll take the Colts as well. All right. Chargers at the Tennessee Titans. They got the Chargers by 8.5.
Ooh. I'm actually going to take the Titans on that one. Not to win, but, I don't think the Chargers cover.
Why you say that?
I think it could be a trap game for the Chargers. They might be coming in there like, we got this, coming to the East Coast. I think, the Titans are going to give them their best shot. I think they're going to keep it close. But Chargers should win the game, and I think they will. But I don't like the line.
The Chargers have just been, to me, they've looked a little up and down, too, a little bit. They've been letting teams linger along for longer than I feel like they've been supposed to in certain games. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to take the Titans, but it's because I think they win by a touchdown. So,
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, 8.5 is a little too high for me. All right. We got the Chicago Bears at the Cincinnati Bengals. They have the Bears by 3.
You know what? I'm actually going to take the Bengals on that one.
I'm glad you said it because that was my immediate thought. First time seeing all of this Bengals. I think they're going to be pissed off about what happened last week, and they're at home.
Yeah.
So
and the Bears also missed an opportunity, right? They're two similar situations for these two teams coming off of bad losses. I mean, the Bears loss to me was worse though, because they were actually against a backup quarterback where they lost by what is it, like 14? It was like 30-16. At least the Bengals were in it to the end. They collapsed, but they were winning for most of the game. So if they clean up a little bit of the defense, like Caleb Williams hasn't really been wowing anybody, right? So Joe Flacco could pull one out his ass and win that game.
I mean, he did the week before, or the week before the Jets. So we've seen it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was it? What were they calling it? The Icy Hot Bowl?
Yeah.
The Unk Bowl. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to take the Bengals as well. All right. A couple more games left. You have Jacksonville heading over to the Raiders. They have Jacksonville by 3. What a garbage.
Oh man, that's like a game. If you have insomnia, that's a good nap game. But
you should be used to that because Miami usually plays in those games.
Oh yeah. And the Jets don't, right?
The Jets, they just need to throw them on a Friday half the time.
Not to be honest with you, with this game, I got the Jaguars. I don't know what the Raiders are doing. They kind of look lost, but Bowers is coming back. I
Hmm.
don't know if that changes anything, but Geno Smith is still their quarterback. I don't trust him or Lawrence. So like it could be like who makes the least amount of mistakes, and I kind of trust Jacksonville a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm going with Jacksonville here. I mean, Gino has looked awful, and that O line looks awful. I feel bad for Jaunty because it's bad. It's really bad. And like I said, I don't know what Bowers makes a difference because Gino's obviously throwing picks at the same time. So, but we'll see what happens. I know fantasy owners are happy to have Bowers back though.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I know. Do you have him?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I
okay.
had Dallas Goddard as my backup, so I haven't missed a beat.
Right. And then I have two already. So I was like, I've been chilling with both of them, rocking with both of
Yeah.
them. So, all right. We got New Orleans heading over to the LA Rams. Rams by 14 and a half.
Woo.
Is
Now,
Puka is back this week?
I think so.
I think he
And
is.
let's also note that I think the Saints are using a different quarterback this week.
Yep. They're going with,
So,
how do you say it?
yeah,
Shucks.
yeah, we'll go with that, right? Because I don't know how to say it either. But
Yeah.
I got the Rams. You know what the hell with it. And I think the Rams just they're what Stafford and Adams are doing right now, and if Puka is coming back, their passing attack is scary. You know, just with that defense, like if you get an early lead on the Saints, I think it could be a blowout.
I'm laughing at this comment right here. Should night. I'm going with the Rams too. The Rams easily look like they could be like Super Bowl bound.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely could be. And the Saints just, I mean, they speak for themselves. I've watched them and they're not good. And I'm hoping that, I mean, can you imagine when the Jets play the Rams, or sorry, when the Jets play the Saints coming up here in a couple of weeks? What a great, fantastic matchup we're getting there.
It could be for the first pick in the draft, right?
Right.
But and I want to see if they actually trade Chris Olave too. You know,
Right.
they might be getting rid of guys, so maybe an audition. So you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, because Olave was connected to the Jets a little simply because, you know, they had Justin Fields and they had Garrett Wilson. I wasn't sure. I don't think I want him, though. Again, he's a little injury prone. I'm not saying when healthy, he's very good. A little too injury prone for me there. But he might work out better with some other teams where he's
Yeah,
maybe
like
not that true.
Buffalo.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of Buffalo, Chiefs at Buffalo Bills. They have the Chiefs by 1.5.
Ooh. You know, like
And the points over under 52.5.
so they're expecting a high scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's tough, right? Because I think overall the Chiefs have been playing more consistent than the Bills, but the Bills have a more explosive offense, you know, like but the Chiefs are getting their guys back, you know, so like, you know, Rice wasn't there earlier in the season, right? Worthy wasn't there either. So it's like now these guys are coming back and we're seeing what they could do, just controlling the game. It's going to be close like it always is, right? But I think I'm actually going to go the Bills in by a field goal.
Right. And I'm taking the Bills too. I have this like a 31 kind of like 28 type of game. You know what I mean? I can see 27-30. Let me tell you, Rashee Rice has been killing it in fantasy for me. Thank God. I was losing going into Monday. I was losing going into Monday because, but I still had one player, and of course, it was Rice. Ended up having pretty decent night, so kind of secured the win there. All right, Sunday Night Football. The Seattle Seahawks are back from a bye week, and they will be at the Commanders. They only have the Seahawks by 3.
Man,
I thought it would be higher than that.
yeah, I don't know if it's because the travel and all that, but I don't think that matters. I think Seattle should win that game by more than a field goal. Washington to me doesn't look good at all.
Mm-hmm.
They took a couple steps back from last year. So granted, a lot of it is injury induced and stuff, but I'm going with the Seahawks.
I am too.
Yeah.
All right. And then the final game of the week,
Oh,
Monday Night Football. You got the Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. You have the Cowboys by 2.5.
and I don't know if Kyler or Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback this week. Do you know if they made a decision on that yet?
Not that I have seen. I don't see. There's nothing on the FanDuel app either. I think I thought that he was ready to come back this week.
It's crazy, right? Because I actually want to pick the Cardinals in this game. And I think that the Cowboys.
I'll tell you right now, I am picking the Cardinals, so you don't even have to ask.
Yeah, no, because I think the Cowboys defense leaves a lot to be desired, right? Like you made the point earlier, Broncos offense hasn't looked great, the last few weeks going into that Cowboys game. They end up getting 44 dropped on them. What could a healthy Cardinals offense do? I think the Cardinals offense hasn't been that bad. Even with Jacoby Brissett, they could put up like 20-some, 30 points.
They've even looked
the Cardinals
better.
defense is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's slightly above average.
Well, and I feel like the Cardinals have been moving the ball better with Brissett
They have,
not even Kyler Murray.
and
So
that's why I asked too, because I was like, maybe I would stick with Brissett and see what you have there, right? I liked how they looked. Like you said, the ball was being more, I think, evenly distributed. He wasn't holding on to the ball as much. How Kyler kind of holds on to the ball, tries to run, and tries to be like Patrick Mahomes a little bit.
mm-hmm.
I still like the Cardinals either way, whoever the quarterback is.
Yeah, I'm going with the Cardinals too. We have Lamar in here, our good old friend Lamar. He says, "Thank you for Michael Carter, I guess. I don't know if he's a good corner." Well, if you were on earlier, I discussed this already. He is a little dealing with injuries all last season. He just doesn't really seem the same. But from what I read, he actually was supposed to be guaranteed like $5 million next year, and he took that off the table simply so he could go to the Eagles. So, he's in a much better situation. I don't know. He's good. When he got paid again, he deserved to be paid. Again, then he had the injury all last year, was like a back issue, and him and several other players on the defense who we paid have just not looked that great. So I don't know if it's a Wilkes scheme, maybe. So maybe he'll be in a better scheme heading over to Philly. But appreciate everything he's done for New York. No bad feelings there. So glad you got him, and then glad we got Mechie. So,
but it's crazy though that he foregone like that $5 million.
Yeah, and that kind of is what concerned me. I did not really like that much. It was very concerning to me. And then even I hate all this like cryptic tweeting that you see all the time with athletes, because then Breece Hall is posting some dude eating like popcorn with his eyes like all big, and everyone's looking into it. And I'm just like, I don't know what to make of it. Yeah, are you saying you're next? Are you saying, oh, glad that they, because now you got some more money so we can possibly extend you? Like,
yeah, because
that's what I'm.
he seen Sauce and Garrett Wilson get the money, right?
Hmm.
Even Justin Fields get a little bit of money, right? So he's like, hey, what about me?
Yeah. At the end of the day, they need to. The Jets are still gonna do what they're going to do in the draft. They need to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. So, do we have a score update really quickly? Last, I think it was 6-1, if I'm correct. Let me check here. 6-1 Blue Jays, end of the
Woo.
eighth. Oh, it's looking good for them. There we
Oh
go.
man.
Got a confirmation of 6-1.
Look, most of America and Canada are, going for the Dodgers. So I mean the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
Only Japan
in
and
LA.
LA, they're going for the Dodgers. We want a different champ. So Blue Jays, don't mess this up for us, all right?
And I do want to say next week begins the start of NCAA men's basketball, and it kicks off with the Arizona Wildcats taking on the reigning champs in the Florida Gators. That should be a great matchup. I'm very exciting. A very exciting matchup. It's in Las Vegas. It'll be on Monday. That'll officially kick off everything. So we're going to be talking some men's college hoops here coming next week. Very, very exciting. U of A, they got to put it together this year. You got like two 5-star recruits. You got little Bronny over there, as I just say. You know what I mean? A lot of freshmen though, so I'm hoping as the season goes on, they kind of work out some of those kinks and get everything meshed together. That way, you can go on a run in the tourney a little bit. But Florida has got still a very stacked roster, very tall. All of
Yeah.
a bunch of 7-footers. It's nuts.
It's
So,
gonna be tough, but we know that in the tournament it's about guard play.
mhm. So, I did my rant earlier, Guy, because once you get to me started talking about Justin Fields, it's never going to be an easy answer with him. But I want to hear your rant this week. Anything you got to get off your chest? I never know with you.
Yeah, no, sometimes it's outside the box. Um, yeah, my rant is it's really about a couple of different things that kind of intertwine here, but what we're seeing in baseball and really throughout sports is we get a lot of times, and I mentioned this before, we get caught up in the big names so much. A lot of times it's the guys that you don't expect that rise to the occasion. And that's why I love baseball, is because anybody at any time could be the hero. It's that one-on-one match, mano a mano, like you versus the pitcher, and you know who's going to win that battle, right? It's all these mini battles within the big battle, and it's just magnified here, and it just goes to show you that Dodgers have 3 former MVPs. Otani's a reigning MVP, doing things that we never seen before, right? So of course, with the logic, if we're thinking logically, like, yeah, they're supposed to just steamroll through everybody, right? But baseball is a game where you have to play the game. And in reality, the Blue Jays have one superstar and a lot of good players, around Vlad. Dodgers are very top heavy. They have about 3 or 4 superstars, some really good players, but then, they're filling in with this and that. Their bullpen's a little like this. Their starting pitching is a little old in some spots, but, they have young guys. So, like, there's some question marks, but they spend a lot of money. And money doesn't always equal success. It's how you spend your money, how you construct the team, and the culture that you build. Dodgers have a great culture, right? They're winning. They've been winning for a long time, and they're gonna be contenders again next year and maybe the year after, right? But the beauty of baseball is that you could have a team like Toronto, who was in last place last year, turn it around. You know, that there was a time where they were like, yo, Vlad might not even re-sign here, right? But kudos to Toronto for keeping their superstar and building and say, you know, we're going to commit to you. We're not going to do what these other organizations do and just try to trade you off to a big market. We're going to pay you because, you know, all these guys are billionaires, right? So we're going to give you a return on investment, and we're going to put a good product on the field and build around a superstar. Cuz believe it or not, I was looking at the ratings here, and this one is doing pretty well, especially internationally. So like it's actually captivating the audience abroad. So with that being said, we're seeing a takeover in baseball and in basketball of foreign born players, right? So these things that, you know, now I think America has to catch up to the rest of the world, because now who's the big superstars in both basketball and baseball? It's a lot of them is from guys from either the Caribbean or Europe or, you know, Japan. It's very interesting how the dynamics change, right? Maybe we have to evolve and do something different in America here, or maybe kids are just playing other shit. You know, like they want to play Roblox and Fortnite instead of going out there and playing basketball or baseball. You know, so it's
and
whatever we want to do.
And the players that are coming from other countries, they just come in with a different mindset. And that's
Yeah,
what people don't understand. The way like kids are raised in other countries is so different than here. And they come in with such a better mentality. And why I bring that up is you have players like, we'll go with Wemby, for example. I mean, he could be the face of the NBA. He's a likable guy. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And you're over here like promoting players like what were we talking about? Ant-Man,
yep,
like not a likable guy. Baby mama drama, with all that stuff that happened like last year and whatnot. But you have these other international superstars that you really could make the face of the NBA should you choose to do so and rock with it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I really love how they need to catch up, but I'm glad it's slowly expanding into other countries. NFL, I mean, they're going to have a game in Madrid. They're going to have a game in Berlin. Obviously, they had the ones in London. They've done Mexico City. So I
Brazil.
really, but that's what I'm saying. All these different places. So it'd be nice to see how some of the other just professional sports kind of piggyback off of that a little bit. So,
Yeah, and
mhm,
you know, like we're just with baseball and basketball because those are more international by nature.
mhm,
You know, like soccer's been that, right? So
mhm.
now, like basketball and baseball is kind of like getting into that now. So, like, yeah, who's the face of baseball? Is Otani, right? Has to be, you know. And in basketball, it could be Wemby, Luca, Greek Freak, you know, Jokic,
Mhm.
SGA, like all these guys are outside the country. And, you know, there could come a time where in football it's like that. But right now, that's like the only, you know, thing that the American sports young athlete, I think, is really going for is to play in the NFL, right? The football is an institution here, right? Especially
Mhm.
down south, where like it's like a way of life, a religion. Uh,
Literally.
yeah, like where you might be the only show in town in like Alabama, right, or the deep South, right? So it's like the high school kids are so prepared, and like that they just churn out athletes. But to your point, in other sports, like these kids have to grow up so fast, where like their mentality is so different. And
Mhm.
to use soccer as an example, like young kids will go to an academy, you know, and go to school and play the game at like 14 years old, right? So like when it's time, if they're really good, they're a professional at like 16, 17, 18 years old. There's no like, oh, they have to play X amount of years. And by that time, it might be a little too late to really maximize on your earning potential too. Because like in the NFL, right? back in the day, yeah, the rookies got the big contracts, but now, depending on where you get drafted, you might not get that much, right? So it
Mhm.
might not be financially smart for some people, but it's just interesting how the dynamics are shifting in these sports. Maybe football catches up.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's all a positive thing.
Oh
So,
yeah, 100%.
and I know we talked about it a little, but people so upset that Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl. I mean, that's another way to bring it international when you have an international superstar on the main stage,
Yes,
and it's going to bring in. At the end of the day, this is a billion-dollar industry at the NFL.
it's
They
about
want
money.
money, and that's
Yeah,
exactly what they knew what they were doing selecting this. So
yes.
I know people are all like, we wanted, a country music star or someone more like, I hate to say this, but American, as if Puerto Rico is not a part of America. So let me,
Oh,
or people forget that it's like a U.S. territory. It's like baffling to me. But again, I think that encompasses the brand that they're trying to build at the same time. And it just kind of kills two birds with one stone. Money, expanding their brand and their vision, put it together on a main stage. You know what I mean?
yeah. And look, if you are able to grow the game like you want to in the NFL, and if you're able to get international superstars someday, like that's just gonna build your brand even bigger. Like you want the NFL to be popular in other parts of the world, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
make it a global game. Like America wants everything for themselves, right? They
Mm-hmm.
really don't like when it expands, and we're the supposedly best at everything. So yeah, there'll be a time where that changes in the NFL, but it's
Mm-hmm.
the last big chip to fall for it going global.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we hoard the NFL for some reason. Like it's ours. Like
Yeah,
it's not ever going to surpass like soccer or anything like that. So there's really nothing to hoard either.
no,
So it's not World Cup. You know what I mean? That's a whole different ballgame. This isn't the Olympics either.
no,
So it's not. I hate when people, what do they say, world champs? And I'm like, no, you're NFL champs. You're not world
yeah,
champs.
yeah. Who else is playing at football across the world?
Thank
Canada.
you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Lamar says they're gonna watch the halftime show and turn the game off next. Some people are,
Yeah,
and again, part of the experience with the Super Bowl, and people don't understand this, is people watch the Super Bowl who don't watch football all year. There
100%.
are there are people that just, oh, I'm gonna host a Super Bowl party in my house, perfect excuse to get together on a Sunday, let's bring people together. And that is the highlight that they're really there for, and they want to see a good performance. They want to see somebody that they know,
Yeah,
and again, I think some of the acts that they brought on, they do a good job of bringing on different people. Like Coldplay brought on like Beyonce. Some people haven't done it. Like I don't think Rihanna brought in anybody. Jennifer Lopez brought in. That's when she brought out Bad Bunny as well. So
yep.
you don't know what collab he's planning on doing. So we're gonna have to wait and see. And I'm excited.
Yeah, and that the other thing that I don't think we've said is that there's a growing Hispanic population that's actually playing football now. That over the years the participation has gone up. So I think that's an untapped market, really. Like there's a few players we've had over the years that are from Hispanic backgrounds, but I think now more than ever, like we're seeing a lot more. And that's great for the league because they always expect you to play either baseball or soccer or something, but now like the NFL is viable for the Hispanic community, which is great.
Well, you see those por la cultura
Yeah,
like
the
commercials.
commercials. Yeah.
I feel like they run all the time. You know what I mean? You're highlighting like people like, what is Isaiah Pacheco in there? Victor Cruz is in there. We have someone else in there too. I'm missing somebody, but I mean, I feel like the NFL is trying to make this happen. We should just be on board with it because it is a very good thing. So appreciate your rant though. You again, you always throw me off with whatever you're going to talk about. I'm like, oh, he's going to talk baseball today. He's going to talk a little bit about the World Series today. I'm like, okay. And here am I talking about what I always talk about. You know what? Since we're on, I just got a trade proposal come through, and this is actually my friend in the league. So he wants to get Trey McBride, and in return, he's like, I would get Kyle Pitts and Tedero and McMillan. First of all, bro, my problem is not wide receiver. You want to give me your running back? Great. I'll take one of your running backs.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Kyle
This guy's
Pitts.
nuts. Yeah. Even I knew coming into fantasy, don't do that.
No.
I
like
knew
that's
that right
disrespectful.
I literally just got the notification coming on right now. I was like, you're giving me garbage. I don't need a wide receiver. I have like 4.
Yeah. No. How do you react to bad trades?
Right. And he's actually the one kind of hoarding. I was actually maybe going to propose one to him. But so he's got Bijan.
Okay.
He's got McCaffrey. He's got Dowdle in there as his flex right now. Again, hoarding all of the people. And then on his bench, he's got, I think he has, double check. He's got Brian Robinson Jr. He's got, I've always say his name wrong, Algier. He's got Ty J. Spears. And he's got Monangai from the Chicago Bears. So I'm like, dude, offer me what I need.
Yeah, why does he have so many running backs?
Literally, I call him like the running. He's my friend, by the way. I might add, but I'm like, you're the running back hoarder, dude, hoarder. And you're gonna give me. You want Trey McBride for 2 people who combined points are gonna have the same amount of points as McBride? What a terrible offer. I will probably go back and be like, repropose this and give me a running back.
Yeah. You could do that.
I need one like bad because I got Brees Hall. He's on a bye, so I have Pollard in right now. I'll tell you who I have. I have Chuba still. I have Hubbard, and then I do have. I'm hoping Trey Benson comes back for the Cardinals soon, and then I picked up DeMarcado, also from the Cardinals. And I don't like either of them, to be honest. So Lamar says you counter a trade with a worser trade. That's what I do. I comment to some, again, I don't know all these people in the league, but since I know that's my actual friend, I might be like, what terrible offer is this?
Yeah.
Like I will talk smack. I'm like, the disrespect to get Trey McBride for that. No, you must think I'm crazy. I don't need that.
Yeah, I mean, look, if there was a trade that was like intelligently done where you're actually studying the other rosters and seeing like what their needs could be, where like you could actually work out a deal that's a little bit mutually benefiting. But like if you're just trading to trade, it's just like but knowing your roster needs like a running back, it would have made more sense.
To trade me a running back. You have like 4 to spare. Help your girl out.
Like, come on. Like, but I don't know what you would say would be a good proposal for you, but you know, he does have 3 starting quality at least. So he has enough depth where he could trade from that, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just need someone better than what I have going right now. I'm pretty secure with all the roster, but I need someone who's going to get touches. And Dowdle, let's go back to the Panthers a little bit. They're going to be splitting that time with Dowdle and Hubbard.
Yeah.
Um, and they're doing the same thing with Tennessee now with Pollard and Spears. I'm like, if you have any of those people, it's been an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it
So,
sucks when you got the running back shares. You would hope that your guy is like at least like 1A where they're getting the lion's share, like the more snaps,
mhm,
that he's not like the change of pace guy. But
right.
even so, it's tough, right? Because then you could have like the backup who's, if you're in a PPR league, like those catches might be more valuable. So
Right.
it really depends on what the scoring is in your league. But yeah, you need to get a running back on that team.
Oh, I know. And I'm just trying to figure it out. And I'm very attached to certain players. So, like, JSN for me is off the table. I'm not trading him. Like, Rasheed Rice, I can part with. Zay Flowers, I could part with. I can even probably part. When he offered me McBride, I would have taken that had he given me a running back.
Right.
But you're not giving me what I need.
Nah, throwing in Kyle Pitts in there was kind of like,
It's not,
like,
and he happens to be a Falcons fan, and you drafted like originally he had drafted like 3 Falcons players. I'm like, dude,
no, that should tell you all you need to know, right? He's trying to
right?
trade you Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, you think because of my first year that I haven't heard and I haven't seen any memes on Kyle Pitts and how he is in fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's like, oh yeah, she'll accept this.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Garbage. I can't believe that just came through. So, alrighty.
Well,
Well, what happened?
real quick before we go, Blue Jays won the game officially.
I did see that.
So they're up 3-2 in the series. So by the time this time next week, we're definitely going to have a new champion. So before we run out of here, do you think the Blue Jays finish the job, or are the Dodgers going to win Game 6 and 7 and take it?
Oh, no, I think the Blue Jays are going to get it done.
Yeah, they're going to win one of the two at home.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because the problem is they should have won the game that went to 18 innings.
Yeah,
They should have even won that game.
they should have.
Like they didn't. It's not like they didn't have opportunities.
Yeah, Game 2 is where they got outplayed, but
Right. That's what I'm saying. But then I was like, okay, well, clearly you were hanging around, and it's really hard to win in Dodger Stadium.
yeah,
Those fans are something else. You know what I mean? They're very passionate. So credit to them for snagging the win today in a very hard Dodger environment. But no, I think they pull it off, and of course I want them to. Again, I can't stand all LA teams. Dodgers, Lakers, Clippers. I don't mind like Rams and Chargers that much. You know what I mean?
yeah. But they haven't really been in LA that long to
That's what
like.
I'm saying. And like
Yeah,
the Rams were San Diego, and San Diego to me, or sorry, the Chargers were San Diego, and San Diego's a different vibe than LA.
yeah.
So have you been to the two?
No, but
Oh,
you
okay.
you could
Very
tell.
different vibes. And it's
Yeah, I
very
think they're
different in
more
San
chill.
Francisco too.
Yeah, I thought San Diego was a little more chill.
Mm-hmm.
LA is kind of like, and then the Bay Area teams are like kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I agree with that
football
assessment.
wise,
Yeah, football wise, yes. I mean, my uncle here, he's a Niners fan, and he's the most. I love him so much, but he is the most obnoxious. I want to tell this story really quickly because he's a Niners fan, and they had lost, and my uncles are going off in the group chat, and I don't say nothing. I just leave it because my team's not being mentioned, and I stay in my lane. My uncle made one comment about like they shouldn't even be called the San Francisco Niners. It should be San Jose Niners or Santa Clara Niners. He's like, well, shouldn't the Jets be the New Jersey Jets? And I was like, don't start with me, dude. I was like, you can't even handle one little comment about the location. But I deal with that literally all the time. That comment comes up literally every single video, like New Jersey Jets, New Jersey Jets. It's overplayed. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you got all sensitive about the location. And then you have to start talking about my team. I was like, as I was minding my business, but since now I'm involved,
Yeah.
I can have time for you, sir.
No, of course. And like being from the area, like the Jets and Giants, like yeah, they play in East Rutherford, which is not that far from Manhattan. It's like
No.
it it's really North Jersey is an extension of New York, to be honest. It's very similar. So
Mm-hmm.
like culturally, it's different, but it's similar enough where it's like, yeah, we have kind of the same mentality rooting for sports teams. So like New York, New Jersey doesn't really matter.
And I feel like it's even the same just with a lot of places. Like technically, I mean, I know it's Arizona Cardinals, but like they play in like Glendale. You get to these like specific, like very specific locations. You know what I mean? Either way, it's still like the Bay. All that area is like the Bay Area to me. So if
Yeah.
anything, it should be the Bay Area Niners.
Oh yeah, like kind of like what Golden State does, right? With
Mm-hmm.
basketball. That
Yeah.
even though now they moved from Oakland to San Francisco, but you know, and baseball and football was different, right? Because like Oakland, San Francisco kind of have like a little rivalry. It could be
Mm-hmm.
like New York, New Jersey a little bit, but it's still kind of similar enough, like culturally, where like if there's one team that they could encompass the whole area, like the Golden State Warriors, for example.
You have to literally like really zoom in on a map of like New Jersey and New York to like really see like where boundary lines are, and they're just pretty much blurred.
Yeah, like believe it or not, New Jersey is closer to the city than most of New York State is.
Right.
That's why like they're in Jersey. Like, and a lot of people that live in New York are coming to New Jersey. That may work in New York. They come to live in Jersey and they do the traveling. That's how like intertwined you know
Mm-hmm.
northern New Jersey is with New York. So like it's not really a big deal out here. So I can see from the outside looking in like, oh, you guys don't even play in your state type thing, but
Well,
it's
look
just
at
the
the
market.
Commanders. The Commanders don't. They play in Maryland. You know what I mean? And you're still Washington, as in Washington D.C. You're in the whole like the DMV area.
Yeah, it's like it's the area, right? It's the Bay
Mm-hmm.
Area, it's DMV, it's
Yeah.
New York, New Jersey, the tri-state area. It's like
Mm-hmm.
New England, right?
Yeah.
New England plays the Patriots play in Foxborough. They're not playing in Boston.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
and New England's its own region. So like, yeah, okay.
All
Like,
these little technicalities that people like to point out. But I thought that was so funny because I'm like, for as obnoxious of a Niners fan as you are, that one little comment you had to ping me, and I was like, I was staying out of this. But since you want to involve me, let me send you a quick little. I was joking around with him. You know what I mean?
wait, he
Um,
didn't tell you bang bang Niner gang?
he says that all the time. My God, that is the worst thing. I hate that. I can't stand it. And oh my God, and I always make fun of at the mind you, I support the Cardinals, but sometimes it's a little cheesy when they're like, "Rise up, Red Sea," and I'm like, no. I'm like,
We're gonna have to come up with something else.
yeah, they're birds. In my head, I'm like, you're a bird, and like birds are like in the sea. I don't know, but I mean, I get it. It is, and everyone's into it, which I'll be chanting it too. You know what I mean? But it's a little just like corny a little bit. I don't even like
Yeah.
saying jet up or fins up. It's
No,
not.
but I could get fins up because like the fins up,
Fin is
like
up, yeah.
I
I mean,
mean
and jets do go up, but I mean, our team is kind of going down like a nosedive.
those Jets haven't flew in a long time.
I know. Well, they're cruising right now into the bye week, and then we'll see when we face off against the Browns. That's who we come back off of the bye week. We're gonna see how what's his name? Miles Garrett. We might need to get a
Oh,
new pilot for that game.
wait, you saw the comment there? What Jet stands for?
Just
Just
end
end
the
the sea.
season. I know, and see comments like that. I see that all the time. It don't bother me.
Yeah,
Because I thought about getting a T-shirt with that on it because it's absolutely true. It's just been a nightmare. So all right. Well, we appreciate you all joining us. As you always do, please like and subscribe to all the social media channels, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. And we are here every Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern. And with that being said, have a good rest of your night, guy. It was always a great show with you.
yep,
Anyways,
pleasure.
peace out, you guys. Thank you.